Hey everybody, Matthew Solomon here, coach with MatthewSolomon.com. What do you have to give up to be happy? And this is somewhat of a continuation from this morning's video on what are your relationships teaching you. So let's say a relationship ends, as they do sometimes, and you really want closure. You really want completion. You really want some sort of resolution. You want to have that one last conversation with that person, to say everything that you need to say, to get an apology, to apologize yourself. And what if they're not available? Now, a lot of times, people will say if that person's dead or if they're not available, you can write a letter to them. And you can write a letter and choose to send it or not and say what you need to say. Another thing you can do is to look at what you need to give up. What are you holding on to that has you stuck in feeling like you need to talk to that person or you need to resolve something? And if you can, and if that person's available, that's awesome. Like that's healthy, that's great, that's an opportunity to really acknowledge each other and from a place of love, move forward and move on separately. But when that person is not available for whatever reason, you get to take stock for yourself and look at what you're holding on to. What judgments, what entitlements, what agreements you had that weren't lived up to, either that they didn't live up to or you didn't live up to, where you get to be responsible for what you brought to the table, and you get to let it go. And I've shared before, there was a relationship that I was in that ended very abruptly, and it caused a whole lot of turmoil with myself and my kids. And I was fighting and fighting and fighting to get resolution, to get what was fair, to get what my kids needed and what I needed, and to stand for the peaceful resolution that we had agreed we would have and then weren't. And at a certain point, I had to give that all up. And I don't mean give up from conceding and resignation and, well, this is the best it's going to be. I mean giving it up from a place of choice, from powerfully choosing and making a decision that I am moving on. That whatever was there for me to have was either not there for me to have, or I get to go find that somewhere else. Within, actually, I get to find that within. So I gave up the money. I gave up the apology. I gave up the broken agreements. I gave up what my kids are going to be affected with for the rest of their lives as they, grow and change and they get to deal with that stuff. And I get to guide them. I got to give up the hurtful messages to my kid. All the stuff that was supposed to go one way that was agreed upon that didn't. I got to give all that. I chose to give all of that up so that I could move forward powerfully and do the things that I need to do in my life, like take care of my kids and work on my career and work on myself and go find a partner who I can talk to, who will hear me and I hear her, and we do stuff together on a whole other level. And I got to take the lesson of, where did I lose myself in that relationship? Fighting so hard to keep something together that wasn't going to stay together. And then once I gave all that up, things started to shift. And here I am, a coach and an author and a loving father and a committed partner and a stand for understanding and love and equality. And a lot of that wouldn't have shown up this way if I had still been holding on. if I had still hung out in that relationship, or if I still needed that apology. And I had somebody question whether I was complete with that or not, and I am. I walked through fire and back. And some of you know. And those of you that have been there for me, there's no amount of gratitude that I can express that would really get you to know how much I love you and appreciate you. So if you're going through something difficult, if you have a judgment on somebody you were with or somebody you are with, sit down with some paper and make a list. What do you need to give up? What are your judgments? Where are you making them wrong? Where did they not honor an agreement with you? Where did they betray you? Where do you want them to pay? What do you want them to pay for? And then give it up. And there's a new moon coming this weekend. So it's a perfect time to be giving stuff up. So go give it up and create your life. Create the life that you want for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you can reach me at coachwithmatthewsolomon.com.